Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome to the Medium's Table. I'm your host, Michelle Gardner. This podcast is your personal invitation to join me at the intersection of the everyday and the extraordinary. Together, we'll explore the magic of mediumship, share spiritual stories, and connect with fellow mediums on this incredible journey. So grab a seat, pour yourself a cuppa, and come join us at the Medium's Table, where spirits gather and stories unfold. Disclaimer, just a heads up to all our lovely followers. Our social media is a space where we share personal stories, including those of various mediums. Let's keep the vibe positive and respect each other's beliefs. Every journey is unique, and here we celebrate the diversity of experiences. I'd like to welcome back to the show for her monthly Unlimited Connections, Jeannette. Welcome back, Jeannette.
Oh, hello, Michelle. Thank you. You paused just a little too long for her monthly, and I'm like, what? Wait. Yes, trance.
That's it.
That's all.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, and this is where your spirit team come in. Oh, is it spirit team? Is it cosmic, galactic? I never know. Angelic? We never know. Because it's always a
combination. I think it's whoever has like the most need, and because there's so many channelers and availability for them, they find somewhere somehow they find a line to connect to. So
yeah, exactly. And we've had these discussions in the past regarding these altered states and many other things. But we've always gone over the fact that for those that are listening and watching, we all have the ability to connect to spirit. We all have that ability to receive.
Incredible timing, synchronicity. Yes, Alicia, that's for you. My daughter and I are having a conversation today, and there's an individual who's Catholic. And he had a tremendous loss, and that entity kept trying to reach him. But he was like, no, I know that when I pass, then we'll be reunited in heaven, et cetera. That's his strong belief system. And then she's telling me that he was going to give someone advice. And I'm like, because he's very, very cutthroat, very blatant, not very soft around the edges. So I thought for a second, I'm like, really? He's going to give advice? And then I'm like, oh. And she looks at me and she says, yeah, it's not really his advice. And I go, because, he, with the stuff that I do, where I've tried to get messages to him from people that want it, he was like, no way. I just don't want it. Stop approaching me. And I respect him. So I'm like, wait a minute. So doesn't he understand that? Because if he is also downloading, because she says to me, he says that it's spirit speaking through him to help others. And I'm like, that's what this is. That's what this is.
Yeah.
But he can't make that leap, that association, right? That this is the same thing. It's in his mind, a heavenly energy, spirit, and to me, it's a greater good. It's a positive energy, whether it's from the heavens or a galactic being someplace else, but it's definitely coordinated by a global solid, for the betterment of all and for good reason and good intentions. So he's experiencing it firsthand, but this is where they say, know your audience. And this is where I say, and I think I said it in one of our tapings, whatever's working for you. If it's going to your church, if it's a particular women's group or men's group, or your yoga classes, that's why people say, I'm religious about that. Because it's something that you do that's a ritual that enlightens you, that releases the anxieties and the frustrations of everyday life, that gives you faith, that gives you hope, that gives you some community with other people that you can laugh about things and recognize that everybody's kind of carrying their own luggage, through this lifetime. It's working. So when you said who's coming through, they figure all of it out. And that Catholic individual who's thinking of helping a dear friend knows that he's going to be touched, and that the words will flow from him, and he'll be like, wow, where did I come up with that idea? That's fantastic. It's really helpful.
So it would be wrong to say to him he's a natural born medium then.
This is a family relation, and we're more about like sharing a glass of wine and a beer and talking about kids and grandkids and life in general. And because really, it's like when you look at the politics and you look at like the religion politics and Presbyterian and Protestant and Christian and born again Christian and Catholic and New Age Catholic, it's like there's more that joins us, that meshes us together, that weaves us together in the fabric of life, that is love and joy and faith and all the things that I'm talking about that we all experience, that is the main current that pulls all of those religions and all of those belief systems. It's man with its industries and its, this church and that church and institutions that basically shatter it right into a million different pieces, and instead of allowing us to just be one cohesive one, because we are one and we are all interconnected. But exactly. However it works, I bless it, and let's all continue to do what we're doing. Help each other out, bring it through, even though however you want to. And it do we really need to categorize it or give it a name? No.
Yeah, and that's it. And I think
the end result's the same.
Yeah, it doesn't necessarily need a label. For those that need a label, that's great. But for those that don't, it's almost like it is what it is, and it's a natural. I don't want to say phenomena, because it's not. I don't really want to say phenomena, but it's natural. It's a natural thing that happens to all of us. It's like dreaming. You can call it something else, but it's still a dream. We all do it. It's natural. It's normal. That's what happens. I think the word medium or channeler, there's so many misconceptions around it. It's been thrown around through the ages, which then ties in with witches and, before they broke down the labels outside of a witch and then gave them other names. But it's that sort of similar. It carries a negative connotation for some, but when you start to understand the purity of it and the natural ability and state, there's nothing scary about it. It's all
the
love
light in it. I think what was done, and this is interesting. I was studying something about genetics and abilities, to be psychic and to be a medium and whatever. And someone did, and it was just one report, so I can't like totally give my stamp of approval, but that because of all of the witch hunts and stuff like that, it really dipped down for a period of time, right? Which then I asked the study, but let me not even get there. Like, really, like when you do the census, do you put in, psychic abilities? Would be kind of cool. But their theory, their hypothesis was that a lot of them, just died out, and that now we're seeing a more, an up groove in it. Whether it's because we're just more aware because of social media and all the different things that are out there, I don't know. But I do know that when something is so powerful and so good, where everybody feels good and you're empowered, and it isn't because you're doing alcohol or you're doing a drug, you feel that energy come through you, then do you really need to succumb to another hierarchy that is above you and that can clear you and forgive you of your sins or whatever it is? Not so much. Well, what ends up happening there with the shift of power? Then they lose some of the individuals that they have power over. So what they did then is they take all of that light and joy and power and label it fear. They cloak it in fear. and
Yeah.
it's a witch, and she's gonna come after little kids, and as human beings, we're so susceptible, particularly in those ages historically, where sure, I mean, there's disease, they didn't understand medicine, they didn't understand health, so to be able to put it on an outside source, okay, and if we can get rid of the witch, everybody's gonna be healthy, everything's gonna be good.
Yeah.
A scapegoat.
Yeah.
And
that society or that governing body is now keeping everybody safe, so they can rely on them to keep everybody safe.
Right. Yeah. So.
Yeah. Wow.
Luckily, here we are. And at the same time, I think and I don't know, I just think it might have been Julie Murphy, we were talking about it. In Philadelphia, there was a case of a girl who you can't do tarot card readings legally in that state. I'm like, what? So they, filed a motion against her. She got an attorney because most people would just pay it and stop doing their work. She stood her ground, and it was like 4 or 5 years. And I know how long court cases take. Literally, give yourself half a dozen years. That's going to be at least 6 years, whatever you get into. And it's now finally came up before I think the Supreme Court of that state. And they said, no, you can't tell her that she can't do this. People have a right to choose. It's a game. If she can make money off of it, nobody's gambling. People are choosing to pay X amount. They know they're not going to increase their earnings, that they're going to get a message and end of story. So, of course, it was appealed, and it's going to continue on legally. But, she's stuck with it. Most people will not do that because you have so many other pressures, in life nagging at you, your work, your boss, your kids' homework, whatever's happening. Do you really have time and money to take that on?
Yeah.
So somebody defended her pro bono, and and I think they've gotten it overturned. But 2026, y'all.
Yeah, I know. That's crazy. Things are so different in our country. I mean, I'm in Australia, and it almost, when I hear that, it's like, exactly that. What century are we living in here? Is that really happening? Like, to me,
like out in the sticks, major hillbillies. I don't know. I don't even know what to tell you because but Philadelphia, I mean, that is the cradle of independence of the United States of America, where the Constitution was signed, all this stuff. Not to mention that, okay? Not to mention what the state represents historically.
Wow.
So I think it came up on my feed is what it was. Now I'm remembering, and I'm like, what? And I just really dove in there and started reading all of the stuff. I'm like, wow. So my takeaway, not only power to that young girl for fighting the system and something that really was wrong, was also how grateful we need to be every day for the freedoms that you were allowed. And you're allowed those freedoms because people fought for them, people died for them, continue to do so. To read your tarot cards, to get on here and do a trance and not have somebody come and haul my little Cuban butt back to jail or something.
Exactly. No knock on the door after we're done.
Yeah. But in other countries they do. I remember when I started, I guess it's going to be 4 years this summer that I started with the mediumship classes, beginning mediumship, and I was practicing with a girl in Russia. I don't know where she was over there, but she's, was whispering, and she was like in a little closet, whatever. She's like, no, nobody can know that I'm doing this because if I get caught, I can be arrested.
That's crazy.
Like, blew my mind. Yeah.
Wow. Oh, she must feel so suppressed. Like that, I just can't even begin to imagine what that would be like in this day and age. And with the internet, like you're saying, you're seeing other countries and other people doing ABC out there, yet they still can't. That's just...
Right. Well, she was, but she wasn't doing it legally, So.
Wow.
Yep.
I mean, power to her for doing what she still loved.
It's still going on. Most, just since we're having this talk for the people that are watching, spiritualist church, they're churches in order to protect them from being harassed by government, from, exactly what was happening to that girl in Philadelphia.
Yeah. But I believe even they set down a whole bunch of rules as well, didn't they? You can't do healings without being taught by the church. I know that's the case in the UK.
Oh, yeah. Well, then they did what all institutions do.
They made it a business.
Here it is. Here, I went into this like a naive little 11-year-old, rainbows and lollipops then.
Yeah.
And then I go to one of these major places and I'm like, oh, wow, so impressed. It's like a castle from I don't know where, and like, back in time someplace. And then I'm hearing all this, no, that we don't do that, and we can't do that, and that's not allowed, and it's got to be this way, this way, this way. And my bubble was burst, and I just went back down to earth, like, wow. So there is yet in my reconnaissance an institution, an organization that says, oh, how do you do it, Michelle? Oh, let's let everybody hear about that, because maybe other people can get into that and also do that type of healing or whatever it is. Like, not like, oh no, shut the door in your face. A, B, C, that's the way we do it. 1, 2, 3. It's an outline, and we continue to follow the outline.
Yeah, exactly. And again, it just inhibits someone's unique abilities to shine and do their work, do their communications, their healing, whatever it is, their spiritual practice, the way it comes naturally to them.
For any of you who are starting or have heard voices or have had a premonition, don't let any teacher that you come across in any class that you take, I don't care if they've written books and have been on Oprah, tell you that it's going to take 5 years and you have to do it this way. And if you don't do this, it's not going to happen, because the reality is they don't know. And I've heard that. And when I heard that from a very high up there individual, and I had paid good money for a class that lasted a year, and I had a little come to Jesus moment, I'm like, oof, Jeanette's out, because this course is going to do me more it's going to damage me more in the beginning stages where I'm needing, confidence, and little by little you're like, oh my God, yeah, that, she actually took that and that really happened, where you're just like in awe of the things that are coming to you. To have somebody smash you down like a little seedling, a little flower that's starting to sprout, and you step on it, that's kind of, and I thought, and then I started to talk to people, and they said, oh yeah, that happens all the time. And I had somebody tell me I could never do that, and I was not this, and I wasn't the other thing. And I'm like, so sad. It's so sad. So don't let anybody tell you what you are or are not capable of, and how long or how much time it's going to take you to get there, or what direction you need to go in to get there.
Yeah, exactly. No. That's it. Yeah. Find yourself a good teacher who will
follow your power within. And I repeat that all the time. Go look for your power and that instinct and take off with that.
Yeah. A good teacher will nurture your natural abilities, not try and shift them, alter them, and put rules around them and constraints. So again, they're out there everywhere. There are beautiful people. If you don't know who to go to, please send us a message, because I have some people that can definitely help you if you're starting out, or even if you're still developing. There's some really great teachers out there that will nurture your natural abilities, and that's what it's all about. So, but on that note, let's check out Jeanette's natural abilities and hear from her voices.
Keep it in the light, and all things for us, for all of us.
Yeah.
Because anything that happens in one part of the world to somebody, somehow, trust me, we will feel it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So this is the part now where, and again, Jeannette brings through her and allows you to join her in her natural abilities of bringing spirit through, and delivering a message, which you do monthly. And you'll notice that if you've watched other people do channeling or trance, whatever you want to call it, whatever name you give it, whatever label, you'll notice that people do it differently. Doesn't make it wrong, doesn't make it right. This is the way they do it. And that's what we celebrate, especially here on the Mediums Table. We celebrate the uniqueness and diversity of all mediums and spiritual modalities. It's a place to shine. And Jeannette, you certainly do that when you're on here.
Well, thank you. And thank them. I'm just kind of following. I told my daughter today, I go, this really wasn't what I had intended. I wanted to have, 5 or 6 clients a week that I could go on Zoom and I could bring through beautiful family members for them. And that was it. I'd be happy with that. But they said no and get it out there and whatever. So yeah, and trance to me, you know how everybody has a walk? Everybody has a different way of walking. Trance is kind of like that. Some people will sway a little bit. Some people will be a little more stiff. Some people will turn their head as they walk. So it's just very individualized to the medium. Some people have their eyes open, which, it's interesting. So some people don't know whether to keep it open or keep it shut or halfway. So, but it is, I think, an incredible vehicle for us to be able to tune into, to get advice, to get guidance, and to reach some type of enlightenment with those energies that are beyond where we're at right here.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Now, you'll notice the audience, viewers and listeners, that there will be a moment, there'll be only a moment of silence, even though the silence in real time is longer. I cut that out because there's really nothing to see or hear. And we just cut straight to the message. And same with when you, the spirit team basically say their farewells. Again, it takes a little bit of time for you to come back to your physical self. So you will notice if you're watching that the video will be a little bit different, because that's me taking out the silence so that we can just have a nice even flow. You're hearing us talking, then you'll hear the message, then Jeanette's back. But anyway, on that note, Jeannette, I'm going to get my notebook out because I like to take notes. And I know they always ask questions.
So I have a question for your viewers. Is anybody interested in actually watching that transition of us going into trance? Because when I started to do it, I wanted to see how long it would take people. And it takes you a lot longer in the beginning once you get rolling. Or for some reason, sometimes if there's something going on in your life, it might take you a little bit longer.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. It's interesting. But yeah, there's nothing to see. It's just the person kind of sitting there quietly and then coming into it. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a lot of breathing. And again, everybody has their own different process. And there's time distortion as well for the amount of time we're watching. For example, you going into that state. For you yourself, you might feel like it takes 1 minute, but for us watching, it might be 5 minutes in what we call real time.
Right.
So, it varies, and it's a different and unique experience for everyone.
Yeah. Well, me and my science and my, so in the beginning it would be like 20 minutes, 17 minutes. The big one that I had in 2023 with, the aliens coming through, that was 17 minutes before there was any conversation.
Yeah.
Where I just sat there going, what am I doing? Am I asleep? I was just waiting. But I knew something had happened. But it was 17 minutes in. And now, I don't know, you tell me, because I really haven't done that anymore. Because in the beginning, I was very curious. I think it's like under 4 or 5 minutes.
Yeah, you're pretty good. Yeah, I'll keep an eye on the time, and when you come back, I'll let you know.
Right, I'll get an answer solid.
Exactly. But again, it is a process. It's a process. It's not just a switch that you flick and boom, you're there. It's a process that you need to, internally quiet the mind and so on and so forth. And everybody has their own way of doing that. And on that note, Jeannette, I'm going to let you take it away.
We thank you for this opportunity once again to communicate. much, much, much will be occurring. Rapid fire, rapid fire, rapid fire. Quickly events will begin to unfold, and before they are understood and you are able to analyze what is going on, another, and another will arise, one after the other. The months that are coming upon you now will be packed full of events, one leading to another, and at the same time, some of them not at all interrelated or correlated one with the other. However, we will have you know that all of these events together will and are leading to one larger main event that will be known historically once it takes place. The name of what will transpire is not for us to foreclose to you this evening, but know that when this takes place, as always, there upon your earth, you have the option of flying into something that is very frightening and making it to be even greater than what it truly will reflect and what it truly will mean to you in your small society, within your home, within your household. A better way to receive this large event will be to take a moment and analyze what it is that is at your disposal and what things you may need, if any, depending upon where you are and your location. Changing and toppling one over the other. This one will be gone, another will come, another will foreshadow and perhaps overtake that one that is now in rule. This also will be rapid fire. Now, recognize that within your communities, because yes, there is one major head, particularly in this country which she resides, it does not mean that all of those separate states will feel the immensity of what is taking place, for those governmental systems continue within each and every one of those states as those states so wish it to be. If you are in a state that has a separate and different mentality than another state, then they will function differently. But wherever it is that you reside will continue with those supplements from that state and will continue to function. So yes, look once again to those communities of support, whichever they may be to you, makes no difference. The important here is that you connect with that. You connect again with that inner power, with your knowingness of how to react, how to remain calm, and how to continue on with what it is that is your plan, your blueprint here upon this earth. This too shall pass. This is not to be seen as end of days. And with these things that will be rapid fire taking place, it will lead to some tremendous change there upon your world. It will lead to a new beginning. It will feel for each and every one of you as a breath has been taken and a tremendous shift in your sense of tension, your sense of control will take place. There will be multiple situations where there will be assistance offered that has not been offered before. They will be made readily available to all. There is tremendous organization in what will take place. Again, listen to your inner knowing, your psychic connections, what has been discussed here earlier, that each and every one of you have the ability for connection. These will be amplified and they will be somewhat easier for you to hear and to understand messages, ideas that are coming. If you wish, some of you will believe that they are yours. This is of no consequence to us as long as the information is transmitted to as many of you as possible, and you have the ability then to understand that this is just another step in the transition of mankind. Recognize in your soul that which is truly most valuable here upon the earth. Many of you do not understand that concept because most of what you consider to be valuable is your acquisition of funds, your acquisition of property, your lives, your family, the ability to think freely, to love, to orchestrate your lives as you see fit, and to not be of service to anyone unless, of course, it is somehow within your nature to serve, as many of you within this realm and this evening, for example, are. But you understand what I mean. You choose to serve. No one is forcing either one of these two women here tonight to serve our purpose or our goals this evening. They do it because it is their choice, their intention to be of service to others through allowing these messages to come through, for which, although it may not appear at times, we are tremendously grateful and have much gratitude for these services that are allowed and rendered to us. Continue to look to the skies, continue to be open-minded to these things that you will see. Some of you, it may be helpful to jot them down. Some of you do journalings. This is a human way to be able to, for yourselves, digest those things that you will be seeing, to look back and say how many times it has taken place, how have I felt, to be able to digest it, to be able to put it into place so that it becomes commonplace to you. However, that system may be or is for you. Unless at this time there are questions, this will be the end of this evening's communication. Do you have at this time questions for us?
Yes, I do. You speak of this event that is going to happen, a big event. Can I ask, for mankind, will this event cause a lot of, I'll say, old or outdated beliefs to fall away among the masses across our globe?
Let me for a moment conceive the best way to answer your question. In that moment of the event, because I am now thinking in the way your mind is trying to rationalize, it will be a long process. There is an event, there's a reaction to an event, there's a fallout of the event, and then there's a restructuring. Then the restructuring process, you see, further on down the way from that event, if you do a time sequence, it will not be an immediate, but yes, it will be the beginning of tremendous change there in a multitude, layers, almost infinite, of those structures that have been there within your world, in financial, in educational, in religious, in building, in health, in education, in travel, in communication via your cell phone. Everything will change with time, because some things that have been held back from humanity will come to the forefront. Inventions, and think, for example, the caveman who invents fire and is in awe of everything that can be done. They can see at night. They begin to cook different animals and meat. But if you were to go and open up one of your cell phones to this individual and the sequencing, do you understand the sequencing? The sequencing, the event, reaction to the event, that within itself will take, as you say, a section, a quadrant of time here. Then these institutions, the most important and the first ones will be, of course, the political ones, the ones that run everything, the ones that organize everything, the ones that control everything. The financial. And the financial, if you do not already adhere to the belief, is truly the one that is above those politicians that you believe you put in power. These will collapse. These will collapse. So yeah, to answer your questions, those systems of religion and of belief will change. Not so because you've discovered what you all already know, the corruption that exists in almost every continent and island upon your world, but because something will be discovered within each and every one of you. Source. Your connection to source and what that can give and facilitate you in your life every day. Things that you worry about that are nonsensical. So then there is no longer a need. When temperatures were incredibly difficult in the heat, people used to use a beautiful little artistic opening fan. Can you imagine today, with your air conditionings and your systems, that you can on your phone say, I want to go home to this temperature? Suggesting a fan to someone who is hot. You cannot at this moment imagine the changes that are going to take place there. They will come with time. Within your own lifetime, from your childhood to where you are now, think of the technology that has been developed, and think if you went back to that childhood at age 5 or 10 and showed them your telephone, the screen that you are looking upon now, the work that you are doing with a person in another country. And it has not been that long, has it, since that child had no awareness of the impact of what was coming. And these were drips that were allowed to siphon down to humanity from that very top that has so many other things, so much greater knowledge and wisdom that they could have relinquished so much hardship and pain there within your world. All systems will change drastically. For you within will have a tremendous growth, a tremendous awareness, a tremendous infinite ability of communication. So I ask that what is left as a residue of this communication this evening is that, not the event, but your world enjoys the drama, because what will be taking place afterwards, the growth, will not be as dramatic as an event. For you are a people who are so connected to the viewing of what happens and the inability almost to be able to shut and close it and not watch it. So that event will be given a lot of power, for the majority of the population will be focusing its energies upon it. Regardless, it will take place. For at this point in your timeline, it has been seen that it is inevitable. But you will continue with greater power and with greater sense of what truly is and what you truly are. You are one of many. You are one of us. Do you have another question?
That is all. Thank you. I'm very happy with that response.
That last part of the transmission was for your viewers.
Thank you.
Understood?
Yes.
We recognize that at times the energy coming through could be somewhat difficult. And we thank you greatly for your entertaining and your tolerance. Until the next communication, we thank you and leave you with great hopes for your future. I feel that. And I want to say I saw, like, how can I put this into words? Like a huge silver ball, which probably like some kind of spaceship, but not the way my mind thinks. It was like a big ball, round. Yeah, and yeah, and then I saw Donald Trump, right? And like symbols of banking, of finance above his head. And then almost like two ladders leaning up against each other. And then, they're like wobbling and falling. Yeah, and a sense of not turmoil, of like what the blank, right? Like, wait, what's just happening? shifting, maybe. I guess the best way I can describe what I felt was like when we're getting a hurricane coming in Miami, everybody gets on high alert and you do not see the nicest face of humanity because
Yeah.
it's ridiculous, and everybody starts to prepare and gas lines and you go to the grocery stores and people are going crazy. I mean, they go kind of nuts. They go a little ballistic and a frenzy. That's what I used to tell my husband because he used to like it. He would used to go. I go, why are you going? I usually just keep things stocked. We're good. We're not going to starve. And the biggest thing we have is water. Okay. And everybody can shed like 10 pounds in my house, quite frankly. So we'll be okay. Right. As long as we have water, we're fine. And, but he would like on his lunchtime go to a grocery store so he could feel that. Like their carts and I'm pulling in. There's no place to park in the parking lot. I'm like, why are you there? Oh my God, there aren't even any carts. I'm like, he had to immerse himself in that energy.
It's like addicted to the hype. Yep.
He enjoyed that. Meanwhile, I'm like walking my dog around the neighborhood, and then you have like a cool, crazy cold breeze and rain. He's like, the weather gets weird. Saying hi to neighbors, and they're all like banging stuff up on them, putting up wood and collecting, and bringing in all the little wind chimes and everything. So, and I'm just like, you prepare, you close your shutters, you do what you have, but I mean, he used to enjoy that. A lot of people. Well, that was another thing. Now I remember of people kind of enjoying something that was taking place and that they couldn't, like my husband, like, what? And he would live next, he worked next to a big Costco, like a big warehouse place. Those go like, they go like everybody there's on crack, right? I'm going there. I'm like, what? Because it's right next door. I got to go and see. Don't we need anything? He'd come home with random stuff anyway, but yeah, I remember the essence in there of people being like that, like, like they couldn't get enough. And when a hurricane is coming, people like will have it on. It's like in the movies, like, you go into a bar and they have it on and you go to get your nails done and it's all on the It's everywhere. It's everywhere. And everybody's like listening and watching. And the cone is now here and the cone is going over there. And I can tell you, because I've lived through like 3 or 4 of them where, that cone is going to hit you. And then it, all of a sudden is this. We had one, Michelle, that was coming up to hit Florida. It kind of was coming, and then it did a whole U-turn. It did a U-turn, like a freaking U-turn.
Wow. Yeah.
So bizarre. But in the trance, I saw something like that, like people, an enormous population of people just being all like, getting in that frenzy mode where they couldn't hold themselves back from it.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's obviously something they can't quite articulate because spirit wouldn't tell me what it was. And I know the viewers and listeners will be saying, why didn't you just ask? You know what? Because I always get in trouble when I ask these questions and I'm told they're not going to tell. It'll be like, weren't you listening? We just said, and I was like, oh, like a bad student.
Here's my takeaway. I don't know, and I don't know if guys can relate to this because a lot of guys do now get waxing. So when you go to get like hot wax, right, particularly down south, and you feel this warm stuff go on, it's like, okay, fine, and then it's like the screams that you would hear in this place. Yeah, but the worst screamers always there were always the men. That's kind of my takeaway. Where I feel there is going to be something that is going to be really painful, right? And then you can be like, oh yay, the bikini looks fantastic now. You can like, there wasn't, because after that there was literally like an exhale of like, okay, it's going to be all right.
Yeah. Because that's basically, you've pretty much covered exactly pretty much what I've written down. And it again, they go into, you have choices. You can go into fear and panic, like you were saying, like when there's a hurricane coming and everybody just got to take all the toilet paper, like, please. Come on now. So leave a little for everybody else, But anyway, there's only so many, just toilet how you normally would. It's not like you're going to be going to the toilet 5 times more just because there's a hurricane over the next 5 days or an event.
It's human nature. Like when you're going to take a long road trip, don't you go to the bathroom like once or twice before you even get into the car?
Oh, yeah.
Like you go to the bathroom, somebody was still finishing with their luggage and you just went 5-10 minutes ago, but now everybody's really getting in the car. You're like, wait, we're going to go to the bathroom one more time.
Yeah.
Because you just think that, okay. And usually
just in case.
You sit in front of your computer and be doing something. You're like, oh my God, it's 2 PM. I haven't left here since I got my coffee. but right. It's the tricks of the mind of thinking that, and you know what? That goes back to fear.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely.
It goes back to fear. And I do remember, I think my final, because what I'm feeling is, and this hasn't happened to me before, it's like I'm connecting with emotions that I had during it, right? Feelings of like, I don't like change a lot, right? Like I like the girl who does my hair. I mean, these are things that you count on in a world that's so chaotic, right? Little things. So, that there was going to be like an adjustment of like, I'm not really comfortable here. I'm not feeling it. But once we adapted to that new maybe way of living, I don't know how to put it, because it was a feeling more than anything else, that it was like, wow, like, why didn't we always do this?
Yeah.
It's so much easier. So yeah, my final point, like the end, when you turn the last page in a book, was like, oh, okay. This was like my mom says, are we watching a movie? Does it have a happy ending? I want a happy ending. Yes, Mom. Yes, I've watched the whole movie and I can guarantee you it has a happy ending. She wants a happy ending. So it was a happy ending.
Yeah.
That was yeah.
And that's a good reminder for the viewers and listeners is, regardless of, like you're saying, the turmoil or the chaos, or the panic, whatever may transpire on social media, just know, again, that you have control over how you react, but also, like you just said, the outcome is going to be better. And just, if sometimes it's like anything, when something gets, there's chaos in someone's life, the dust gets thrown up in the air, but when it settles, it can be so much better. You think, all right, I see where this was going now. I didn't need to worry. You know what I mean? Hindsight's a wonderful thing. And now everything's better.
Everything's in place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, at least here we live in a world in a country, in a city, because not all parts of the United States are like that, of such excess, where if there's an event, everybody gets a new outfit for the event. And I'm like, well, isn't there something you can kind of put together and mix up? No, we've already worn them. We're getting new dresses. I'm like, wow, where does all this, where's it all go in the end? But you never see. So there is definitely other options out there that I think could simplify our lives. But I think the biggest for me always comes right back to us.
And the feeling I had, because I asked a question about, we hear this a lot in trance communications, whether it be in practice or online or wherever we may see it on social media as well, that there's going to be a shift in the world. And you just think, how can something happen for so many people to shift? Like, there's got to be something big, something epic. And my question was, basically, is this going to create like the beliefs or the old mindsets or ways of the masses to shift across the globe, and how quickly sort of, is it going to be a quick shift? But the answer was that it will be progressive, because it'll take time to restructure. Institutions will fall away, like, you mentioned political, educational, financial, all of that will fall away. And, sometimes it doesn't hurt to have a change, doesn't hurt to have a restructure, because sometimes it could be better for everyone. And I think that's what it comes down to is once the dust settles, I think there could be a takeaway from this. Whatever happens, once the dust settles, just be calm, let it settle, let the cards fall where they may, and just see what happens without getting too reactive. Because it's the reactive part that creates the chaos when it's out of control reactive, when it's fear-based reactive. And then then there's that ripple effect, and unnecessarily, especially when you've got a family, kids, you want them to feel like everything's okay. Everything's calm.
Oh, yeah. I mean, yeah, but parents have an incredible ability to hold their ass together in front of kids. Like I remember doing it with hurricanes. Like, oh, it's gonna be we're gonna have a party and bring out hats and whatever to, and educate them. Yeah, there's a storm and it changes and whatever. But yeah, it's gotta be something. And let me tell you that being scared and getting into anger is human. We react, right? Then we have the option of taking a minute and taking a breath, especially when it's a world event and isn't something that's like, my backyard's on fire. I mean, I gotta move. Bye, Michelle. I gotta go. Gotta take care of something. But with a world event where you can kind of sit back and like, okay, what do I do? How do I prepare? But at the end of it all, I think it's scripted to work out for the majority of us.
Yeah.
My takeaway, like I said, this was I felt very almost like pressure. I felt like, yeah. But then there were a lot of, I think, feeling emotional takeaways for me. And that one visual of like a huge sphere, I guess, because it's like a big round silver thing. But I don't think that's the event. I don't think that that's the event. That's just something that I saw in there.
If only we could have a clue, but then, sometimes you're better off not knowing, because then you can't preconceive what's going to happen.
Because here's the whole thing. Because what you were talking about, how that it's going to, there be an unfolding of whatever it was that you asked. Let's take the pandemic. Okay, that was just 6 years ago. But if somebody had told you in, say, 2015, there's going to be this horrible illness and thousands of people, there's going to be 2,000 people that die in Italy alone in like a month. And there's going to be, because I remember seeing this, truckloads, like 18-wheelers. I'm not even going to say it because it's so distasteful, but huge numbers in lives that just kept piling up. And then they're not going to know who has it or who doesn't have it. People can't talk to each other. People can't be together. There's not going to be any work. There's not going to be any school. So if we had gotten all of these type of little tidbits, I always thought our world is ending.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything would be tipped upside down.
World, I mean, everybody's just going to die. I mean, it would be easy to go into crazy panic mode. And I remember during that pandemic, I would sit out by the canal here and do some solid morning meditation and reading and disconnecting. And in one of those mornings, I started to write. What's it called when you're kind of getting downloads and you're writing? Automatic writing.
Automatic writing.
So,
yeah.
Automatic writing. And I'm writing and then I come out of it and I read it, and it said, and I wrote it in the book that I was reading at the time for my own historical appreciation, that not to worry, that countries were working together, which I thought, no flipping way. Our country's going to work together for humanity. That's not going to happen. Okay. And they're going to come up with a cure. And there's also going to be where you're going to be able to go to like your little drugstore on the corner and do a test, and you'll know immediately whether or not you have it. Because that was another problem. Who has it? Who doesn't have it? Lines and lines of cars here at where we usually have the fairs, which is like a huge property of cars, and just it was crazy. And I remember showing this to my husband. I go, look at this. He's like, oh, that'll never happen. I go, yeah, that's what I think. I mean, countries working together, manufacturers of drugs like splitting and sharing information. I think first they'll wait for all of humanity to die. Quite frankly.
Yeah.
Quite frankly. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to have to tie this one up here for tonight and give my brain a little rest and cool my jets. Okay.
Interesting. But for the viewers and listeners, if there's anything you can take away from this, know that everything will be okay. And it'll unfold and you'll navigate that as you do with each little tiny step as it happens. Oh, thank you so much, Jeannette, for your wisdom, your spiritual advice, and so on and so forth, and everything that you do for us every month. Where can people find you?
I'm going to let you tell them, Michelle.
Jeannette Connects. JeannetteConnects.com. That's your website, JeannetteConnects.com.
Yeah.
Facebook, your Jeannette Connects' Facebook, Instagram. Are you on YouTube yet?
Yes.
Okay. So. Jeannette Connects on YouTube. Yeah. But I will put all of those links in the description below so you can reach out to Jeannette, ask questions, book a service, whatever it is that you feel that you want to interact with her with. And thank you so much, Jeannette. And I look forward to having you back again very soon. To view the show notes, head over to themediumstable.com.au. If you want to watch these episodes, head over to our YouTube channel, The Medium's Table Podcast.